Welcome back to another episode of Bear Track Outfitters podcast. Today's going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit out of the norm for me. I don't normally do these types of podcasts, but you'll see why in a little bit, why I'm kind of doing it, and I'll kind of explain myself. So I have a bit of notes here. So if you see me kind of looking to the side, just don't pay any attention to it. I'm going to do that so I don't start rambling and talking incoherently, and this will kind of keep me on track. But basically what I'm going to talk about today is why we hunt, but also the direction I see kind of the hunting community go. And to me, it's worrisome for the most part. There's obviously good aspects to it, but for the most part, it's a little disconcerting to me. So recently, I deleted all my social media platforms. I was only on Facebook and Instagram to begin with, and they were business. They weren't personal accounts. But I just deleted all the apps off all my devices. That was probably, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Can't remember when, but I haven't been on them since. So if you've messaged me, sorry, but that's why I'm not on it. I found myself, for one, just mindlessly scrolling, which is a complete waste of time. And then, if you have an iPhone, you kind of get those screen time updates at the end of the day. Your screen time today was, and a lot of times you'd be like, oh, that's too much. So that was one reason I just found myself mindlessly scrolling through nothing. And the second reason is the motivation for this podcast. The problem is this. How many times have we seen a so-called, hunter post questionable content, or performing, questionable acts on an animal he just killed, right? I'm not going to be speaking on the financial side of influencer hunting, although that's a big problem. Today, I'm mostly going to touch on kind of what I see, like the ethics around it. And there's a question that's been stuck on my mind the past few months, probably, and that is, why do we feel the need to post our kills on social media for strangers to see? I wish people would do an honest self-assessment as to why. Why do we feel the need to post our kills, our experiences, our hunts on social media for complete random strangers to see? That's a question that kind of came into my mind as to when I was on social media. I'm a lot of it I did for business, advertising, stuff like that, but I'd post some personal stuff, and it just got me thinking, like, why am I doing this? Why am I posting this for the whole world to see? To me, it diminished my experience to a bunch of likes and comments. Because what happens? People post, and then, who liked it? How many people liked it? How many people commented? And you get sucked into this vortex of trying to get recognition from complete and random strangers. You turn that experience into gratification from people you couldn't even pick out of a crowd. And so, and the counter argument to this is always, well, there have always been bragging boards, right? You go to your local bow shop or whatever, and there's bragging boards and people post stuff. And that social media is just a more modern, broader version of that. Okay, but that still doesn't answer my question. Why do you feel the need to brag about your hunt? Why do you feel the need for complete strangers to see your kill if it's not for anything more than attention, right? I could personally care less about what some random stranger thinks. It plays no role in my hunt, my experience. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. when I kill something, my wife is usually the first to find out, and then I'll text a couple close friends of mine, because we all kind of support each other and hunt together, and they can come help me drag. So I'll do that. Like the people that are close to me will know. If I go sit one evening or one morning, my buddies will often text me, hey, how'd it go? How'd you do? Did you see anything? And vice versa. So I have a little community of me and my buddies, and it's a small group of people that I really share these experiences with. Because I don't do it for other people. I do it for myself. And me and my friends are all like-minded. So that makes sense to me. The second issue I have is it comes down to human nature, right? It forces people to do stupid things with animals, all in the name of content. And you want to get eyeballs on your page, so you always need to outdo the other person, and we've all seen these stupid posts people make, spitting in a fish's mouth, or humping some dead animal they killed, or kicking a wounded goose in the head, taking low percentage shots on animals that they never should have taken, but they need the content, so they got to kill this animal. And it drives me insane when I see stuff like that. Chasing a coyote through the field in your truck. Like, now, I'm all for predator control, don't get me wrong. But why not do it the proper way? Why not get an e-collar out there? Why not have fun with it? Why be an idiot? And then not only film it and then post it. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why people feel the need to do that kind of stuff. Most often these low percentage shots are done for attention. They're done because the need for content outweighs the ethics of the hunt. That's kind of the way I look at it. And I'll say that again. The need for content usually outweighs the ethics of the hunt. There's a term for it. It's called killing for clout or killing for content. And another thing I'm not sure what's worse. These so-called influencers or the people that support them. Or even celebrate these questionable events. Like I've seen posts where guys are complete morons to dead animals. And you get these people commenting, hell yeah, brother, awesome job, or it's like, what are we doing? Why are we celebrating this nonsense? If I had a hunter in my camp humping a dead bear after he shot it because of some victory dance, or I would come unglued. Like, show a little respect, show a little class, man. That type of mentality just doesn't resonate with me whatsoever. And I saw one post where this clown shot this bear in the forehead with a bow. And thankfully he started to get roasted in the comments. Rightfully so. And the response was, well, it worked, didn't it? Just because you got lucky doesn't mean that was the ethical or good shot to take. Like, what a stupid response. And then to post that, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And then they'll say, oh, well, you don't know the context. Okay, maybe so. But what I do know is you chose to post that. You chose for that to be the thing that people see. And even if that were true, even if the context led you to shoot that bear in the forehead with your bow, you know, I can't think of any, but for the sake of argument, let's say that's the case. Maybe think to yourself, oof, you know, okay, for the sake of argument, we had to do that. But that's not a good look. Right? It's just, no matter how we try to spin this, it's not a good look. Maybe let's just not post this one. But no, we need content. We need eyeballs. We need followers. We need likes. And see, even with my notes, I'm starting to ramble. I don't understand that desperation for attention like that. You know, as hunters, we're called to manage and protect these animals. We are the ethical stewards of these animals. And if not us, then who then? These animals are not there for our pleasure, and they're certainly not there to gain us a following on social media. And I think why this bothers me so much is, what are we teaching the future generations of hunting? Are we teaching that this sort of behavior is okay? Are we teaching that it's okay to blur the lines? It's okay to be a little questionable as long as you get likes and subscribers or followers? That's why, to me, this is so egregious. Not only are the acts themselves egregious, but you get someone who's new to hunting and he watches all this garbage day in and day out on social media. If he's scrolling through it mindlessly like I used to do, what's he to think? Right? What's he to think now when he goes out in the field? Well, that guy, did something stupid with a dead deer. That guy's spitting a fish's mouth. That guy's, whatever he's doing, and he's got 100,000 followers, million followers, 500,000 followers. Well, maybe if I want to be this social media influencer, well, now I have to start doing stuff like that. To me, it's irresponsible, is what it is. And we get these comments, where I've seen these comments about, well, we shouldn't attack each other, right? We should stick together. We have too many forces outside of the hunting world, anti-hunters, PETA, all that stuff, attacking us. We need to stick together. We're all on the same team. I disagree. If you do questionable acts with dead animals, if you're unethical in your practices, and if you violate game laws, you're not on my team. I'm not on your team. We need to call these people out, because the anti-hunters don't know the difference. And then we all get lumped together. So now all of us ethical, moral hunters who do it the right way and do it for the right reasons get lumped in with these bozos on Instagram doing nonsense content. Sorry. We're not on the same team. I don't believe that for a second. You're not preserving hunting. You're not promoting access. You're not teaching proper hunting ethics. You're doing more harm than good. Take Cameron Hanes, for example. Okay? He's a big one. And again, normally I don't engage in this calling people out, name calling, stuff like that. It's kind of out of the norm for me, but I've gotten to the point where I'm terribly frustrated. So you take Cameron Hanes, okay? He has 2.7 million followers on Instagram. In the last 3 months, he posted 211 times. If you look at all of his posts, it's product promotion or self-promotion. That's it. So you had 211 opportunities to reach, at minimum, 2.7 million people. You didn't talk about conservation. You didn't talk about hunting ethics. You didn't talk about hunting practices. You didn't talk about hunter access. No, you chose to promote a product or promote yourself. So how can you sit there and tell me a guy like that is good for hunting? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. again, it's what are we teaching this future generation? Sort of the people that say, oh, no, we shouldn't call these people out. No, this is the reason we must call them out. There is an outdoor journalist and photographer by the name of Corey Hockett. He's from Montana, I think. In an article he wrote, he had an interesting snippet in there. And I'll read it for you now. He says, "We live in a funny time, an age where announcing one's experiences outweighs living the experience itself. If you don't have a picture of the trail, did the trail run even happen? If your photo wasn't affirmed by 1,000 cyber hearts, was your bike ride even worth it? If you climb a mountain but fail to take a reel of it, were you even there at all? So goes the thought process of the digital age." The hunting community is no different, right? Next time you scroll through someone's profile, pay attention to what they're posting. Pay attention to how much of it is product promotion or self-promotion. And I think you'll be shocked. Because normally we just scroll through and it's mindless, right? We just, oh, that's cool. But then if you stop and really look at it and analyze it and go, okay, this person, and I know actual accounts that exist that are like this. This person has tens of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. And it's a picture of them standing on a hill gazing into the sunset. Okay, not sure what that has to do with hunting. Or it's a picture of them roasting something over the fire, or making coffee by the fire in the morning, or pictures like just outdoor enthusiast pictures. And it's like, how are you promoting hunting? How are you protecting our right to hunt? How are you on my team? If I don't care about you standing on some hill looking at the sunset. What does that have to do with anything? Right? And you get the odd picture of them holding a deer or an elk or a fish or something, and it's like, okay, you have 250,000 followers. You have 5,000 posts, and 7 of them are of you actually hunting. You don't believe me? Start doing it yourself. Look at these Insta famous people, and you'll start to see what I mean. It's actually a little ridiculous. I've been around these so-called influencers, and watching them is fascinating. They spend far more time trying to get the perfect angle, promote a product, make sure their sponsors are happy, than they actually spend hunting. The experience is lost and gone, because after the kill, they go into business mode. They're trying to appease sponsors and get this perfect content to grow their following in the hopes of gaining more sponsors and getting more money. It's a vicious cycle. And what happens is the animal is nothing but a prop. I've seen where people promote a product. I've seen it with my own eyes. They promote a product that wasn't even used during the hunt. Or what they'll do is after the kill, then they'll use the product in some sort of B-roll to make it look like they used the product during the hunt. Or they take a picture of their grip and grin and they got the product sitting there, and I'm just like, that's the first time I've ever seen that. You've never used it before, but they got to appease the sponsors, right? True story. Now, caveat here. I didn't know this person was an influencer. Oh, I hate that term. I didn't know he's an influencer when he booked the hunt with us. He didn't say anything. He didn't mention it. Nothing. He showed up and he had his little entourage, and I was like, oh boy. Too late now, but whatever. So I watched them, and he's got a massive following on social media. He's on all your outdoorsman channel, sportsman channel. It's not a nobody. I'll just put it that way. I watched them film this content as if they were stalking a bear. Okay? So he's stalking this bear. The camera guy, true story, hand to God. Camera guy breaks off a branch off a tree limb, and he kind of holds it in front of the camera lens, and he's got the camera in the other hand. So it kind of looks like they're in the bush through the lens. And he's stalking this bear. The entire time, I don't think they're more than 20 feet away from my lodge. They're in my driveway. We don't even stalk bears. We don't do spot and stalk at our camp. We hunt over bait. So I don't know what, but I had to walk away. I had to walk away. It was too much for me. But this is the kind of nonsense you get on social media, and a lot of hunting shows, to be honest. This is the nonsense you get, and it's far more prevalent. Again, speaking from experience, I've been around these people enough to know it's far more prevalent than you'd imagine. I've also witnessed and know personally certain hunting influencers who have tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of followers, an absorbent amount of money in sponsorships and gear. And these people can't hunt their way out of a wet paper bag. I hate to put it that way, but they show up, they got all the brand new gear, they got all the, they're decked out, all the sponsorships, and you actually get to hunting and you're like, oh my goodness. This person has no clue what they're doing. How does this happen? How does that happen? But I guess the sponsorships don't care as long as they get eyeballs, right? And I truly think if people understood how much BS there is in that world, it would come crashing down. I pray the day that happens. I can't wait. I hope it. I don't think it ever will, but I would like to see that happen, because I think people would be shocked at how much BS there is in that world. Now again, there's obviously legitimate people out there that do this. I'm not trying to generalize the whole community, but it was very revealing and very shocking to me how much BS actually takes place. And these are the people we follow, we give our time to, and even defend on social media. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't watch or follow any famous hunter. There's hunting shows I watch. Not a lot, but there are a few. I like the ones that are real, right? The ones that are, doesn't have to be some high quality production. You get this guy, he takes out his 12-year-old daughter or 8-year-old daughter or son for the first time hunting, and they kill a deer and they call mom, and she, like, that's the kind of stuff I like. I don't get into this high production nonsense, because I know chances are it's all smoke and mirrors. The ones that aren't trying to push a product down my throat every 5 seconds. A guy shoots an animal with his bow, and I saw that buck coming, and I grabbed my Hoyt, and I drew back that Easton arrow and that G5 Mega Meat. It's like, you don't have to explain it that way. I grabbed my bow, I shot the deer. It's simple. We saw it. But no, they got to plug all these sponsorships in, and it's too much for me. It's too much. And I could care less if someone pays tens of thousands of dollars to go on some, hunt on a ranch, or I don't care. Because the common defense is, well, you're just jealous. If you had that kind of money, you'd do the same thing. I promise you that's not true. As sure as I'm sitting here, I promise you that's not true. That's just not my style. And again, if you have the means to do it, go for it. Don't care. Where it starts to bother me is when they act like they weren't. So, they pay all this obscene amount of money to go on a hunt, and then they act like it was some backcountry hunt that they did they never show the outfitter. They never give them credit. They never show the guide. They never give the guide credit, to whom the success is actually owed. Let's be real. By watching the video, you'd think it was all them. Meanwhile, they've been staying in this cushy lodge with an outfitter, and they had a guide the entire time. That's very prevalent. I know people that, I follow so and so and I love his hunt. And meanwhile, I know for sure it's all high fence or private ranch. But you watch the video and it looks like he's in the backcountry somewhere. That's dishonest. You're lying. Again, I don't care if you go to these exorbitant ranches and hunt. If that's what you want to do, do it. But don't act and portray it as something it wasn't. Just say, hey, yeah, I killed this, 380-inch bull. I went to a private ranch and had a guide. Okay, you still killed 380 inches. That's fine. I'm not against guided hunts. I'm against you portraying them dishonestly. If you go with an outfitter, you go with a guide, give them the credit they're due. Here's another, and that's not by accident, by the way. Just to tie that one off. They do that on purpose. Again, Cam Hanes. Everybody thinks he's some backcountry hunter. Google Deseret Ranch in Utah, or the ranch he goes in Utah. It's a private ranch. There's nothing backcountry about it. Here's another example of how ridiculous the social media hunting influencing world is. How many times have you seen, some good-looking girl in a bikini holding some fish she may or may not have even caught? She's got 250,000 followers, 10,000 comments, obviously with the odd creep in there thinking they're going to take her home and making these suggestive comments. 50,000 likes, all this stuff. Then you find this guy, some random Joe from the Midwest or wherever, who shot a 180-inch deer. And then you go to his profile and you look, and it's nothing but he's doing this year in, year out. Man, this guy gets after it. Right? He's got 175 followers, 10 likes and 3 comments, and 2 of those comments are his buddies. You're like, what are we doing here? And then you scroll that Instagram girl's page and it's nothing but Yeti advertisements and bikini shots and short pictures. What are we doing? That irritates me like you wouldn't believe. Why do we give those people our attention, but the guy who's getting after it year after year, who legitimate deer hunter, bear hunter, elk hunter, moose hunter, whatever, that guy's a nobody. That to me is a prime example of why that whole industry is flawed. I'd rather support a guy like that. I'd rather follow a guy like that. I don't care how many followers you are. To me, if you're getting after it on public land, you're killing nice deer, and it doesn't have to be 180-inch, 170-inch deer. If you get after it on your own, and you're scouting in the summer and you're doing all these things, and you kill a 120-inch deer, hey man, respect, absolutely. But if you're some bimbo in a bikini on a boat, on some charter holding a fish, could care less. Could care less. So to wrap this up, Just get out there and hunt. It's that simple. Don't hunt for clout. Don't hunt for content. Don't hunt for recognition and attention from strangers. Because at the end of the day, who cares? Who cares? Don't let the success of your hunt be determined by the approval of random strangers. Hunting is a deeply personal thing for me. When I'm in the stand, it's a cathartic experience for me. And I never want to diminish that by seeking the approval of strangers. When I'm out there, the last thing on my mind is oh, this will make a good social media poster, or this will get likes, or this will get me followers. I don't care. And if that's your mentality, then I would suggest that the whole experience is lost on you. Then I think you're doing it for entirely the wrong reasons. And I plead with you to change. Because at the end of the day, you're hurting yourself more than you know. I don't need you to see the animal I killed on social media. I don't need you to see the sunset view from my tree stand. I have far too much respect for that animal to reduce it to nothing but a prop strictly for my own vanity. I don't know. Like I said, this podcast is a little out of the norm for me. Normally I try to be a little more educational with them. But this is something that was weighing on me quite a bit. I've just been becoming increasingly frustrated the way I see the hunting community go. That direction scares me. I think far too many people do it for the wrong reasons. It's disrespectful to the industry. It's disrespectful to yourself. It's disrespectful to the animal. Before I let you go, there is a podcast that I would like you to check out. It's called the Hunt Quietly podcast. I have no affiliation with them. I'm not associated with them in any way. It's a podcast where it's basically very similar to this episode. Sorry, not my podcast, but this episode. And I enjoy it quite a bit. I don't agree with everything they say, but I would say about 98% I do. So I would encourage you to check them out if you're interested in this sort of topic. They do it in a very good way. So that's my rant. That's my spiel. I hope at the very least we examine ourselves and our motives. So until next time, we'll see you in the big woods.